is up, guys? It's Mel and welcome back to my channel. Hope you guys are having a good day. Okay, so another trailer for the Callisto Protocol has dropped and I want to go over it because I'm going to leave an index card so you guys can see my other reactions to it. This one is called The Truth of Black Iron. It's the official 4K trailer. I will leave links and everything in the description box below so you guys can check it out. With the Callisto Protocol, I was so hyped for this game in the beginning, and now it's sort of dwindled because it's kind of like just a complete copy of Dead Space. Obviously, it's got a few cool features, but on the whole, it's pretty much Dead Space. And this is kind of looking like what Dead Space 3 should have been. Now, I love Dead Space 3. I know that there's a lot of hatred for that game, but I do like it. I don't agree with the cooperative element of it, although you do have a choice not to play it in co-op. I don't, I just did it in single player mode. I do like that you get to go on, you know, that you get to go on planet side, but I get where people were coming from, you know, because you're not in space, you know, you're on a planet this time around. But I think it was a fitting ending for Isaac's story. At least at the time, and until, you know, we're obviously going back to the beginning with the Dead Space remake next year, and you know, this might bring a resurgence to the series and we might actually get Dead Space 4. But whether they're going to actually continue Isaac's arc is questionable, because they might just move on to something else. But, you know, fans will end up getting pissed. You know what people are like. They're going to get angry either way. But yeah, I want to do this reaction and go over the next trailer. And they've given a lot away already with the Callisto Protocol. Again, it was very subtle in the very first trailer. But with what we saw at Gamescom and things like that, it ended up... They ended up showing one of the mechanics too soon, which is the, you know, if you don't dismember and kill one of the enemies right away, you know, they basically transform into something else, which I thought was pretty unique for the, if this is going to be a series, you know, or a franchise or whatever. It would have been nice not to be showing that, or, you know, have it just thrown in your face, because that's the kind of element that you would want to be surprised by, right? You don't want it just out there in the trailer. It's something, you know, you want some mystery left to the game, you know, and I feel like most of these developers, even though they want to please the fans, it's the same with movies, you know, they're giving too much away and they might as well just release the movie then and there and the video game then and there. It spoils the experience for everybody else, because back in the olden days, and I'm going back a while, you know, we would have gaming magazines, you know, and we would see just screenshots, you know, on the physical magazines. It wasn't digital back then. You know, that's how old I am. But yeah, it was, you know, you would see just little snippets of the game, you know, and screenshots on, you know, paper, you know, in the magazine. And you were lucky enough to get a demo disc, you know, but then they would change the game drastically over time. With this, again, you know, in other games, you know, they've just thrown everything out there and it sort of ruins the experience for everybody else. And I get it, I know what people are going to say, but you don't have to watch it. But I want to do a reaction so I can at least talk about it. You know, I'm still going to play it, but it sort of dulls the overall experience. But yeah, so if you're new to my channel, hi, I'm Mel. I'm a variety streamer and reactor on Twitch, as well as right here on YouTube. Consider subscribing. It's completely free and you can unsubscribe at any time. Hope you guys are having an amazing day. And without further ado, let's get into the reaction. Okay.
Like someone's trying to cover up what's happening here. So what happened to the original colony?
Abandoned. along with the rest of Callisto.
They didn't have a clue what was going on. Things are changing. They're evolving.
These aren't accidents. There's a pattern.
Isn't about escape, Jacob. Not anymore.
What's it about?
Answers.
As you wish. Soon everything will become clear. The truth of Black Island.
It's basically Dead Space, complete copy. I mean, if this is set in the same universe as Dead Space, then that's okay, because then I would understand it. But if this is a completely separate entity, then it will piss me off, because it's like these sorts of video game. I don't mind an homage every now and again, but it needs to be able to stand on its own 2 feet. This is why I had such a hard time playing Immortals Phoenix Rising, because it was basically Breath of the Wild meets Assassin's Creed. You know, it was a weird game, even though I love it now. It just took a while to accept that this was the kind of game that I was playing. You know, it was really weird. You know, I hope that there isn't a cooperative element in this. I hope that there is just solo play all the way through it, because we've seen like the women character, you know, kind of gives me Ellie vibes from Dead Space 2 and 3, you know, and obviously this is basically just, you know, they're hyping this up to be something different. You know, they've been doing it since it was revealed the first time last year, and they're not really doing a good job to sell it. You know, like the beasties that you saw crawling on the walls running towards you, straight out of Dead Space, the first one. You know, the necromorphs with the tail that, you know, run after you and jump. They've got no legs. Yeah, that just, it irks me a lot, because it's too much. It's too much like Dead Space, you know, it needs to be able to stand on its own, and obviously there's a little bit of an alien vibe, you know, the Alien movie vibes from the derelict ship to, I think I saw someone doing a chestbuster type thing in the game. But yeah, like the shoot the tentacles thing, we've already seen that with Dead Space. It's in the opening of the game, you know, when Isaac goes down down a level, and it basically says, you know, chop off the limbs or dismember, whatever. So it's too much like Dead Space. And again, they're pushing the evolution mechanic too much in these trailers, right? I mean, they've got to keep it a mystery in order to draw people into playing the game. Again, people are going to play it regardless, you know, but you need that little bit of mystery. But it's basically Dead Space with a new skin. That's it. And I think what they're trying to do is turn the new protagonist into another Isaac Clarke. You know, the suit, you know, the spacesuit pretty much looks almost identical to what Isaac was wearing. The only thing that's different is the health tube. It's like a barcode at the back of the neck. The bit where he's strapped on the table, again, Dead Space 2, hello? You know, you're either poking out your own eyeball, or, you know, you're basically, you know, strapped to a chair, and then the necromorph attack happens at the beginning. It's too much like Dead Space, and it needs to be able to stand on its own 2 feet. Hopefully, they do one final trailer to sell it. I'm going to play it, but I probably won't get the full enjoyment out of it. Only because they've done, again, it's, you know, I think this is what Dead Space 3 was supposed to be, but obviously back then during the PS3 days they didn't have the utilities to basically push it out there. Obviously with PS5 and Xbox One or Xbox Series X and, you know, all that stuff, they've got the power to do it now. But, you know, again, you know, it's really weird. It's a weird situation. I don't know if we're going to be starting off in space and then going planet side like, you know, in Dead Space 3, but I think that the Callisto protocol, or the Callisto station, is attached to the planet. But, you know, we won't know until either maybe a 30-minute demo comes out or the game comes out in its entirety. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below. I know I didn't give that great of a reaction. It's because it wasn't scary. There was nothing that was drawing me in, because I felt like I was just watching, you know, maybe a fan-made version of Dead Space, but they've made it different. You know, but that's me. Everybody's different. Everybody will enjoy this game, I'm pretty sure, you know, but, you know, I assure you there will be mixed reviews about this, because people are going to compare it to Dead Space too much, and that's a bad thing. You know, again, an homage is fine every now and again, but it needs to be able to stand on its own 2 feet. Every game should, especially if it's, again, if it's in the same universe, that's fine, you know, but if it's a spin-off, it needs to be able to stand on its own 2 feet to make that impression, you know. Obviously, it's going to sell enough copies to garner a sequel if, you know, the dev team behind it are going to do a sequel. But yeah, it's too much like Dead Space, you know, and I couldn't enjoy it that much. I loved when they first revealed this, you know, because they weren't showing much. But again, they're just throwing everything into the mix. There's no mystery to it. And the scare fact, because I was scared of the original trailer, you know, the first reveal. But, you know, they've kind of dulled the scare factor a bit. Obviously, we're just seeing a trailer, so I might get scared playing it. But again, it's just some of the enemy types is too much like the necromorphs from Dead Space. You know, the snowy or ash covered planet, it's too much like Dead Space 3. You know, you've got to make it different. You know, otherwise people are just going to get too familiar and then just go straight back to Dead Space, which is an iconic franchise. I love it, but again, if you are wanting to begin a new franchise with a new protagonist, you know, new story, all of that stuff, then make it stand on its own and make it different, you know, because you don't want to make just a complete copy of Dead Space and slap a new skin on it. It doesn't work like that, you know. You have to make it different, and it's, you know, in order to make it good, but there's too much familiarity in it. Let's shoot the tentacles, you know, written in blood. We've seen it with Dead Space, you know, cut off the limbs, blah 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 blah, written in blood on the wall. We've seen it all of this before, so you need to ramp it up, because I don't know, you know, I might change my mind once I get to play it, but we'll see what happens. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If there's anything you would like me to react to in the future, let me know, and I hope you guys have an amazing day. Please stay safe out there, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.